When a dismissive avoidant and you both go silent, what happens next? When a dismissive avoidant and you both stop contacting each other, something powerful happens, though not in the way you might think. It starts quietly. No fights, no grand exits, no closure, just silence. The kind that doesn't shout, it lingers. Two people, both wounded in different ways, both tired of the push and pull, finally stop trying to reach across the emotional gap. At first, it feels like the end. The calls fade, the texts disappear, and the rhythm you were once caught in finally stops. It feels final, but it's not. Because in truth, when the noise stops, that's when the real story begins. Silence doesn't end connection, it exposes it. For the dismissive avoidant, this silence serves a purpose. It's not about indifference or hatred, it's about protection. To them, distance equals safety, silence equals control. They believe that by stepping back, they're avoiding rejection, vulnerability, and the old emotional wounds they've spent their whole life avoiding. But when you stop contacting them too, when you stop reaching out, stop checking in, stop trying to hold the connection together, something inside them begins to shift. At first, they feel relief. Finally, no pressure. No one expecting more. But as time passes, that relief begins to transform into something else. Curiosity. They start to notice the quiet they created. The absence they once needed begins to echo, and that echo asks questions they're not ready to face. Why aren't they chasing me anymore? Did they move on? Did they finally give up on me? That's when the walls they've built begin to tremble. Because for the avoidant, connection is a paradox. They crave love but fear being controlled. They want closeness but associate it with suffocation. They long for intimacy but have no idea how to stay when it finally arrives. So when you were the one reaching out, sending messages, trying to reconnect, showing understanding, it fed their sense of security. They knew deep down you'd always come back. But when you finally stop, that security turns into uncertainty. The power dynamic shifts. They lose the illusion of control, and that's where the inner conflict begins. Now, on your side of the silence, something else unfolds. At first, it hurts. The habit of reaching out doesn't fade overnight. You check your phone. You wonder if they're thinking of you. You replay the last message, wondering what went wrong. But over time, something within you starts to change. The silence that once felt cold begins to feel calm. The quiet that once felt like punishment starts to feel like protection. You begin to see how much energy you once gave, energy that wasn't being matched. You start to understand that peace doesn't always come from getting answers. Sometimes it comes from walking away. And that realization marks the beginning of your healing. Meanwhile, the avoidant begins to sense something they can't explain. Even without contact, they can feel your energy shifting. You're not waiting anymore. You're not emotionally dependent on their response. And for someone who used to feel safe in being desired but not vulnerable, that shift is unsettling. Because suddenly, they become the one wondering. They become the one haunted by your absence. Avoidants like to believe they don't need anyone, but when the person who once loved them stops reaching out, they begin to feel the very abandonment they've spent years trying to avoid. They may not message you directly. Instead, they start testing the waters. They might watch your stories, like your old post, send a casual meme. They'll pretend it's nothing, but what they're really asking is, are you still there? Do you still care? And yet, here's the paradox. If you respond too soon, they retreat again. If you remain calm and detached, they spiral in confusion. It's the emotional tug-of-war that defines the avoidant cycle. As time goes on, though, something deeper starts to unfold for both of you. For you, silence becomes clarity. You start to see how much of the relationship was built on emotional labor you carried alone. You realize that love isn't meant to be proven, it's meant to be shared. For them, silence becomes confrontation. They begin to sit with the loneliness they've tried to bury. They start to feel the cost of their defenses. Late at night, when the distractions fade, memories of you return, not because they missed the chase, but because they missed the safety you represented. They remember your patience, your understanding, your warmth, the things they couldn't receive without fear. And what they feel isn't just nostalgia, it's recognition. Recognition of what they lost because of their fear. You, on the other hand, continue to grow. You start to see that silence doesn't mean rejection, it means redirection. You begin to fill your life with presence, not waiting. You stop chasing closure because the silence itself is closure. It shows you what they were capable of giving and what they weren't. And when they eventually reappear, and many do, you'll notice something different. Their words may sound sweet, their tone familiar, but it no longer pulls you in because the mystery that once kept you hooked has now been replaced by understanding. You no longer want to fix them. You simply see them clearly, and that clarity is freedom. Because healing doesn't always end in reunion. Sometimes it ends in revelation. You realize that silence was never your enemy. It was your teacher. It showed you where you were giving too much and where you needed to return to yourself. And when your silence comes from peace, not punishment, that's when it becomes most powerful. Because for the avoidant, your quiet confidence becomes the one thing they can't control or forget. Your absence becomes the mirror that shows them the cost of their avoidance, and your peace becomes the reminder that love cannot bloom where fear still rules. So if you're in that quiet space right now, wondering what happens next, remember this: silence doesn't end a connection. It reveals who's willing to grow from it. For them, silence awakens fear. For you, it awakens strength. And in that space between no contact and self-discovery, you finally find freedom. And as you sit in this silence, remember, healing isn't about who reaches out first or who misses who more. It's about what the quiet teaches you. Every pause, every unanswered message, every moment of stillness is guiding you back to yourself. So take this season to rebuild your peace, to honor your boundaries, and to choose your own growth over their uncertainty. Because the right connection will never require you to lose yourself to keep it. Stay grounded, stay patient, and trust. What's meant for you will never need to be chased.